and welcome to Serie A Spotlight episode 88. We're your hosts Jake and Matt, here to deliver the last episode before the 2023-2024 Serie A campaign kicks off.
Finally, bro.
Yeah, it's been a long and tedious wait without football, but finally we get to see what these guys have got, bro.
And what would the last episode before the official campaign kicks off be without a little bit of a prediction episode?
Exactly. Now, granted, the transfer market will be open for the remaining 2 weeks, so things can still change and our predictions will most likely change by then. But this is what we've got so far, with how everyone looks.
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much exactly what we'll be doing in this episode, guys. We'll be giving you guys our predictions for the 2023-2024 campaign. We will cover who we believe will be the capocannoniere, top assister, who will get the most clean sheets, as well as going through our predicted league standings, whilst both pointing out each team's new player we believe to be the one to watch in this campaign.
Yes, but before we delve into it, remember to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify if you like our content, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever, whatever.
Yes, guys, and with Serie A kicking off this Saturday, we will be tuning in with some of our patrons this weekend. One of our day ones, Alan, one of my favorite people who has been tuning into our podcast for a really, really long time now, I believe since season 1. He's over in Malta on holiday. And we're also going to have himself and a couple of local patrons over at our house watching the games together. So that's going to be quite cool. If you guys want to become a patron and benefit from much more, such as a Fanta Calcio League, a WhatsApp group chat, one of the latest group chats in Calcio, hit our link in bio and become part of the Serie A Spotlight family. Now, these are the games that will be kicking off this Serie A campaign, starting from Saturday all the way across to Monday. So on Saturday, things kick off with Empoli versus Verona. We could already see a little bit of a relegation 6-pointer perhaps over there. Followed by Frosinone Napoli, that will also be at 6:30. And then following that, there's Genoa against Fiorentina and Inter against Monza, which is actually a very, very good game.
Genoa-Fiorentina is the match of Saturday, huh? What a game.
Oh, Inter Monza's a good one as well, bro.
Retegui against Beltram, bro.
That's going to be lit. Sunday, Roma face Salernitana, Sassuolo, face Atalanta. These are good games, bro.
Yeah.
My God, I'm vomiting here. Lecce play Lazio and Udinese face Juventus in the Bianconeri derby. And then on Monday, Torino against Cagliari at 6:30, and then the Monday 8:45 game, Bologna against Milan, which is fireworks.
Yeah.
Massive game over there to kick things off.
Good luck, Sarah, my lovely girlfriend, getting me off the sofa this weekend.
Bro, I have so many plans this weekend, and I'm just making excuses for all of them. And I don't mind saying this because my friends don't listen to the podcast anyway. Fuck you guys. Benji and Carl's farewell. Papa!
Yeah. Papa! That's the thing. Go, man. Don't make it all grandiose. Just leave.
Just leave and let me watch my football. No, I'll be popping by. I'll just be leaving very, very early. But yeah, that's pretty much those are the games that, I mean, yeah. We're going to be dual screening it the entire way, because it's always 2 games being played at a time. So Alan, Cesco, all of them, they're in for a classic weekend at the Fenix.
Yes, so if this is your first time joining us this season, this is how we do things, guys. Each match day, after all the 10 games are carried out, we release an episode covering each of the matches just 2 days later.
Yes, within each episode, we pick out each individual match and run our audience through the lineups, play-by-play, goal descriptions, talking points, along with any news, backstories, or updates.
Our goal basically is to give the people what they would have missed if they missed the matches. We want to make them feel like they didn't miss out too much and they're still caught up with all the latest events of the league, You didn't have time to watch football this weekend, it's okay. In your commute, you just flick on our podcast and you're up to date with everything, who won, but who dominated, the stats of the game, the hot takes, funny moments, everything. We love a humorous touch as well.
Exactly. I mean, we're avid Serie A fans, so we'll be going into quite a bit of detail about each game, including stats and general pointers, which we would have noticed when watching the matches. I mean, we watched the majority of them over the weekend, so we'll make sure to share every single one of our opinions, hot takes, and just things we've noticed, really.
Yes, the order of these matches, guys, will be covered in accordance to the importance of these matches. For example, should first place Napoli play second place Milan, this will be the first game covered. Should third place Inter play 12th place Udinese, this will be further down the pecking order. Of course, if there's a relegation battle, this might actually be higher up in our priority list because we love those games.
Exactly. Or if there's a lot on the line, basically, wherever there's something on the line that's higher up in the pecking order. It could also be a game that initially looked shit, but it ended up being a 4-3 thriller, then that will move up the pecking order as well. In the intro of each episode, we start things off by choosing our goal of the week, which you will hear as a commentary piece in our episode intro, along with going over our exclusive Patreon Fanta Calcio League, updating you guys on the standings very briefly, because, you know, as much as it's cool, you guys would want to get down to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interactive, it's fun, you know, we'll be dedicating Instagram posts to all that stuff as well, swipe posts with funny videos, with all the beef with the WhatsApp chat, you know, with all the goal posts and the stickers, you know, but I know I'm making a few stickers with my squad members.
You are?
Yeah, of course, bro.
We've got 8, we're a league of 8 this year. Hopefully, next year we'll have a couple of more guys on, so we could even maybe have a double leaguer or something like that.
Or just one of those web Fantas where you can have like 100 people in the same league. That would be fun.
Maybe.
Well, what about the betting segment? For those of you who have listened to us before, you may have noticed that there was no mention this time of the betting segment. Towards the end of last season, we were feeling bad throwing away money and just losing every single bet. To the point that we stopped doing it because, you know, we're getting money from our patrons and it kind of felt stupid to be throwing that money away. So we've cut it out, but we are speaking to a few betting companies, and if they do give us a pool of money to play with, then we'll bring it back because it is fun, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, predicting and putting a bit of money on the line is entertaining, but as long as it's not coming out of our pocket, we are good. So in the next episode, you hear us going, bet 365. That means that they gave us a little bit of money to play with, guys. It's not that deep.
Credits. I mean, one thing we don't want is for our patrons to be so kind to actually be contributing money to help us grow.
Yes.
And we're just putting that for the sake of a segment. We want to invest in better microphones.
Yeah, and we have, in fact. That's an announcement that we have bought a microphone with patron money alone. So thank you very much for contributing to that. We can actually interview guests properly now without having to gather around one microphone. It's going to be great. Thank you very much to all those who have contributed.
Absolutely. And it won't end there. As you know, we're setting up our studio at the moment. As you could understand, with all of the soundproofing that is going on, it is quite fucking expensive. Hopefully we could invest.
Not for you, it ain't.
Not. I mean, brother, if you want help, just let me know. You know what I mean? Just for you guys that don't know. Jake is getting a bigger apartment than I am. He has an extra apartment. He has an extra room. So we're turning that into the studio until he inevitably has kids. And then it becomes their bedroom.
Yes, God forbid. Now let's
Shall we start instantly by sharing who we think are going to be the top scorers, top assisters, and top clean sheeters?
I think we should go through the table first, personally.
What are you doing? We discussed this before the episode, and we said, let's start off with this.
Changed my mind.
Quick rock, paper, scissors.
All right, let's go.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh, looks like we're going through the table,
let's
baby.
not. Let's
You don't know the rules of rock, paper, scissors?
It makes so...
This is what he's like all the time.
They're not going to listen to the entire episode just to wait for us to say that we think XYZ is going to be top scorer or whatever. Let's get those out of the way.
Sure, bro. Just so you guys know, Jake Fennec won at rock, paper, scissors this round, and we're still doing what he said. All right, so please, let's go, bro. All right, let's start with your top goal scorer. For me, it was between two men.
Yes, and I think it was like that for most people. For me, I think Victor Osimhen will still take the cake next year.
Yes. I think it will be Osimhen as well, because I think he's head and shoulders above the other strikers in the league, but closely followed by Lautaro Martinez.
I believe so. I
don't think it'll be a runaway thing like last season.
No, I'm the first one to bid high for Lautaro on Fanta Calcio. He's consistent and, well, he does have slums of bad spells, but he's consistent from season to season in the amount of goals he scores and the amount of assists he gets. He's in a front two in a very dynamic team, and typically, whether it's Dzeko, Lukaku, or whoever in the past years that is next to him, he enjoys giving them a cheeky assist. This year, so far it's either Thuram or Correa, but we'll see who will be assisting him or who he will be assisting. Arnautovic as well, yes. Absolutely.
Who's your dark horse for the for the capocannoniere spot?
I think Beto will be much higher than he was. I think Beto will finally find some more consistency for Udinese. I think this season is an important one for him. He had 2 above average seasons. He had 2 good seasons. I think this year he might take things to the next level.
Personally, I don't rate Beto that highly as a goal scorer. He's okay as a football player. He leaves a lot to be desired. I think when it comes to dark horses, Scamacca's a good shout for Atalanta. You can always put an Atalanta man as your capocannoniere favorite. As well as maybe even, who knows, bro, Retegui. It might be a bit early, it might be a bit reactionary, but imagine, dude.
Bro,
you know what I mean? Genoa have had it before. Piontek, like, for example, Milito.
Very, very, very high hopes for Retegui. Very high hopes for Retegui, very high hopes for Genoa. I can't wait to see that fucking team play.
Yes,
I would even be tempted to go watch them live, man.
The last time they were in Serie A.
Oh,
they were in Serie A, they were terrible. They actually look good.
If it weren't for Cagliari's injuries, the story might be a bit different. But out of the 3 teams that got promoted, Genoa are looking the strongest. Now, if Cagliari didn't have those injuries,
I don't even think
they might be close.
I still think Genoa are head and shoulders above them. They might start off the season with Malinovsky and Messias behind Retegui up front, bro. And not to mention the other signings they've made, but we'll get into that later on. Top assists.
Top assists. Now you start.
Okay, it's obviously the 2. It's Leao Guevara, no? It's one of them.
Well, not necessarily. I have Leao. But not necessarily, because if you look 2 seasons ago, it was Barella. And Barella's quite a consistent one. You look even more seasons ago, I believe it was Sergei. So it does typically come from midfielders. I do think it's going to be Leao. I think he's going to have an extraordinary season for Milan. And, you know, it's easy for him. He just drags the ball down to the byline, squares it back. He's been getting better at it. His decision making was a bit flawed in the past. He'd go for a shot, he'd go for a ball over the top when he should pass it, so on and so forth. But he's gotten much better at it, and I think he might be the top assister.
Maybe, that's a good shout. I also have Coop Miners as a shout. By the way, Coop Miners is a very, very intelligent player. I think he might get it.
From the set pieces as well, he likes whipping them in, and with Scamacca in the box, he might get to the end of some of those.
And El Bilal Toure.
Ooh.
Clean sheets.
Who do you have, bro? Wait, top assists. Did you decide on one or?
Actually, you're right. I never gave my final.
Classic Jake. Commit, bro.
I'm gonna go Coop Miners. Fuck it.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Clean sheets. Now this was a tough one. Because
maybe for you.
I have. So mine's a bit of a gamble. But let's start with you.
Szczesny.
So you have Szczesny. I thought of Szczesny. And it was very close. I do think that Szczesny will get a bunch of clean sheets. I think Juve will find consistency, another full season under Allegri. It seems like they're getting the players that they have a good amount of continuity, and they're also, if they bring in Berardi, they're bringing in some significant. They're bringing in a significant difference maker over there. I think that if Magnan has an injury-less season, then he will be in an injury-free season. Absolutely, he will be the top. He will have the most clean sheets. I think the only reason he hasn't over the past 2 years, because you look at 2 years ago when Milan were getting clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet, the only reason he wasn't there is because he was out for a fucking month. Last season, when Milan were conceding 5, 3, 4. He was out, and it was Tata Rusano. I believe if he has the full 38 matches between the sticks for Milan, he will be the goalkeeper of the most clean sheets.
Fair enough. The only thing that stops me from that is Tomori's a very aggressive defender, and Xiao is great, don't get me wrong, and I predict that he will have a breakout season. But remember that in Germany, this guy was viewed as an error-prone player. That was his reputation. He was error-prone, you know? So you never know how it's going to go. A season is very long, and when you have 2 defenders, like there's no defensive leader at the back for Milan. You know what I mean? There's no Danilo.
I said that in the last episode.
It's a bit risky going into the season like this. In fact, I do think that Milan still need a centre back as well as a striker, man. But
I agree. Two seasons ago, again, Tomori was one of the best defenders in the league. I think that he had a rocky start to the season, and I don't think he was in a place mentally to get over it so quick. I think it started off with those Champions League matches against Chelsea, where I feel like he felt a lot of the pressure. I feel like he had a bad game. Gave away that penalty. There was another match where he got a red card as well. And I think he had a rocky start, and I think he just didn't manage to settle his nerves with Pierre next to him or with Chow next to him and not someone like Kier who could earth him or something like that. I think it was a rocky start.
Yeah.
I think he will start the season more confidently, especially with the signings that were made, being backed by Pioli. I think he could really start to become that leading force at the back that Milan desperately need.
Perhaps. Let's hope so, in fact. So we had top goal scorer, top assist, top clean sheets. And is there anything else? Or shall we?
No, we can move forward to the league table. I say we do it 20th to 1st.
Okay, fair enough. Let's do it.
Do you agree?
I agree, definitely. Should we split our bottom three or should we literally go one by one?
Let's go one by one.
Okay.
Last place. Who gets last place for you?
For me, Frosinone, I get lost.
For me, it's Lecce. I think Lecce will get last place.
Damn, that Umtiti hits hard, huh?
I think Lecce will suck. They lost Umtiti, they lost Hjulmand, and towards the end of last season, well, for half of the season, they looked shambolic. They didn't look like they could do anything.
And they've got D'Aversa now, who I'm really not that keen on.
Not that big a fan of.
He's had good seasons before, and he has helped many teams, particularly Parma. And I think Ascoli as well. Was he the manager of Ascoli during?
I'm not sure. I know he was Sampdoria, and he didn't do a great job over there.
Yeah. I don't see him doing very well with this Lecce side, and I do see Lecce struggling. But I think Frosinone, they don't look too convincing. They lost the great manager in Grosso. He had a fantastic season with them.
Yes.
And he abandoned them essentially. And granted, they've made some moves in the market, but I think it'll be too much for them, too much of a jump to Serie A, and I think they'll go back down and they'll finish last.
I agree. I found the changing of manager very strange for Frosinone, and I'm not too confident, even though they killed everyone last season. Really not confident they'll stay long in Serie A. So I have them going back down as well, but I think Lecce's demise will be strong this season, especially with the personnel that they lost, the fact that they didn't really bring in anyone of clear significance for them. Now I saw a Lecce page calling for them to sign Ramos on a free.
Yes, of course, the next Umtiti, no?
Because if you sign Ramos on a free, you don't have to pay his wages, eh?
No, bro, he'll get to live in that beautiful part of Italy.
Exactly. But yeah, I think Lecce last. I have Frosinone in 19th.
I have Lecce in 19th.
Hey, look at us disagreeing.
Look at us, bro. So we think that Lecce and Frosinone will both go down now in 18th place. I believe we disagree here.
So I changed mine.
Okay.
Through reflecting and removing my gut feeling and just adding knowledge, I've changed it. So for those of you who listened to the last episode, I had been saying for a couple of days that I have a feeling that Empoli will get relegated.
Yes, you had said that.
But with the acquisitions they've made, even bringing on Cancellieri, bringing on a winger that they so desperately desired, and still having Zanetti, and knowing what kind of fluid football they played last year, sure, they won't get many 3 points, but they'll definitely get enough points to put themselves above a team like Cagliari, who I have in 18th.
You have Cagliari going back down.
Yeah.
Now, Cagliari are starting the season without Rog and Lapadula, who both suffered long-term injuries, and that does suck for them. However, I do think that Ranieri, the Tinker Man, will make it work over there. I don't think they'll finish crazy high up the table, but I think they'll just survive. For me, a team that has been so silent in the market. For me, a team whose only signing was a Jamaican striker who plays in the Jamaican league, whose name is Stewart, whose hairstyle, by the way, is a ponytail, but it's up. It defies gravity. It's just going upwards.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
if you read that he's 6'2", he's actually 6 feet tall.
No, he's
just
fucking
his hair,
5'9".
Yeah.
Like, it's a crazy thing, man.
Yeah, the team we are talking about is Salernitana. I unfortunately, because I absolutely love Salernitana and I do want to go see them. I actually want to watch them in their stadium this season, bro, because their fans are incredible. The vibes are incredible. If Boulaye Diaz stays there, it might be a different story, but I have a gut feeling he'll leave. That release clause is looking tasty. I have a feeling that Salernitana will be the third team to go down.
Okay, I think that they were in the process of really improving last year towards the end of the towards the end of the season. You know, they just looked so good. They looked so dangerous, and that game in particular where when Trustekong got that last minute winner and it confirmed survival for them. You just saw the spirit that's in the team that I can't write them off, especially seeing what the way Sousa has managed to make the team gel. Before I thought that no one could quite do what Nicola did to Salernitana, but then seeing the fact that Sousa managed to do it so quickly after gives me the feeling that it's not just the manager, but that it is a solid squad. It's a very solid fan base. They breathe football, those fans, they love football, and I really think that'll be enough to keep them up. They won't be very high because I think they didn't get any better from last year, but continuity is always important, and at least they didn't lose a bunch of their guys.
Fair enough. 17th, I've got Hellas Verona.
I agree with you. I've got Hellas Verona on 17th. Just once again, narrowly scraping. And it'll be a matter of time, bro. It's only a matter of time.
It'll be like the penultimate game, Saponara to Bonazzoli goal, and they survive. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah,
that is the reason I don't have them relegated, though.
Saponara, Bonazzoli.
The Serie A experience. Saponara has, the intelligence he has, the way that from nothing he turns nothing into something.
They have flair off the bench now. And then they have a few tools, Hellas Verona. I don't think they're as bad as they look.
They also lost Tamez, remember that?
Yes,
Tamez to Torino.
Yes.
That'll be a bad one for them.
16th, I have Cagliari.
I have Salernitana.
Okay. I think, once again, I think Ranieri will get this Cagliari side to survive, and you think Salernitana will finish in 16th, which is also, of course, very doable. The Serie A this season, guys, is so hard to predict. When you look at, for example, the top 7, you can put them in literally any order, and you look at the bottom as well, it's not too far off either. Okay.
No.
So 16th, you have Salernitana. I have Cagliari. What about 15th?
Just above them, Empoli.
Empoli, agreed.
Look at us.
Wow.
Look at us.
14th.
Genoa.
Monza. For me. Look.
Ooh, a dip. A significant dip. Is Carlos
course,
Augusto that important for them?
Yes, definitely. Carlos Augusto is very, very, very important for them. And very important as well was the investment of Silvio Berlusconi. Of course, now they are owned by the Greek owner of Leeds and Olympiacos, and apparently a bit of a weird owner to have. I don't see that Monza have strengthened that much. Granted, they had to redeem all the players that they had bought the season prior with all those bonuses and conditions depending on survival. I do think Monza would dip a little bit. I think they will. Everyone around them got stronger.
I disagree. I think that they've made acquisitions in the right area. Bringing on Gagliardini and then bringing on someone like D'Ambrosio, who looked shit against Milan in that pre-season Berlusconi Cup, Trofeo Berlusconi.
But then he scored in the Coppa.
I believe Gagliardini was a very good signing, particularly because they lost Rovella, who returned to his former club, and now he's actually moved on to Lazio. There's a bit of a transfer update. But there's still the team that has Pessina, there's still the team that has Caprari, there's still the team that has Petagna up top, they still have Izzo at the back,
Di Gregorio on goal.
They still have Di Gregorio on goal. I still think they're a very, very solid team, and I do think they'll finish higher up the table.
Fair enough, bro.
13th.
I have Udinese.
I have Sassuolo in 13th.
Okay. I personally think Sassuolo will do a bit better this year.
I think so. This is where it gets very tricky because there's a pool of teams. Like if you look at last season, there were 5 teams fighting for that 8th, 9th and 10th spot. You know, the Torinos, the Udineses, the Monzas, the Sassuolos, the Bolognas, the Fiorentinas, those are all somewhere in the mix over there. Okay, with Fiorentina higher up naturally, but they're all kind of fighting within that mid-table slot to finish higher up. I think that even though Sassuolo have good continuity with their manager, I think if they lose Berardi, it will be fucking significant for them, and I predict that they'll lose him.
Okay, I think it's time for Berardi to move. However, they have brought in a winger. Lauriente's still there, so they do have some pieces. Mulattieri looks amazing.
He does, and
Pinamonti as well with another year. Yes, I mean, yes, but we're in the same region, bro. I have them in 12th, like.
Okay, you have them.
So you have them
in 12th.
Yeah, there we go. So 12th, 13th are interchangeable. 11th,
Monza.
Now this is where I got a bit crazy. I put Genoa.
That's fucking. But do you remember last year when I put Monza in 10th and you called me crazy and they literally finished fucking 10th or 9th?
The Oracle.
So maybe you'll be the Oracle. Come on, Genoa.
Fucking hell.
Come on, Genoa.
I'm Genoa till I die.
I'm Genoa till I die. Torino.
I have Torino in 9th, personally.
Hey, you jumping the gun.
I'm jumping,
You
bro.
jumping the
I've
gun.
got Bologna in 10th.
Okay.
Yes.
Guess where I have Bologna?
In 9th.
Yes.
Yeah, so here we go, bro. Just leapfrogging each other. All right, so let's jump to the... Yes, I think Bologna, have a good thing going. I think Torino have an even better thing going. I think Torino will continue to improve and continue to push to be a European contender. But I don't think they're quite there yet. And I think 9th will be a solid finish for them. And Bologna are on the same boat, to be honest. A little bit behind, I believe. They need a striker because they've just lost Arnie, even though Zirkzee, by the way,
he's good.
He's always looked
good.
But he scored a fantastic goal, bro. He
just needs to get his shooting boots on. His positioning is good. He glides when it comes to his movement. Very smart movement. He plays well with his back towards goal. Put your shooting boots on.
Yes, he's not the type to get you over 10 goals.
No.
He'll get you like 5.
But 6. Thank fuck there was Orsolini last year, and then because he managed to play him in a couple of times. No, look, I agree with you. I think Torino, great continuity with a great manager like Juric. Fantastic squad. They signed smart. They got players like Bellanova that they needed.
They kept Ricci.
Which
is great.
Very, very good transfer market for them. Vlasic. There's a lot of stability over there, right? Bologna, however, last year they were on some kind of different gravy, different sauce. And keep in mind, they started off that season with Mihailovic.
That's a
Mihailovic passed away and Motta came in, and look what he managed to do. He spent the first 5-6 games trying shit out, and he still managed to do what he did. I think with a full preseason with them, and hopefully with a full season with them, he'll get them up to 9.
That's a very good point, bro. Yes, very possible. Bologna did look very good towards the end of last season. So this is where it gets interesting now, because we do have 8 sisters in Serie A, right?
Yes.
And the 8th sister of them all for me is Fiorentina.
I agree. Okay. Fiorentina. Yes, fantastic team. Managed to make it to the Conference League final last year. They've made some very good fucking signings, bro.
Yes.
Very good signings. And Italiano is one of my favorite coaches in Italy. I see him managing Italy one day.
Yes.
Name Italiano, plays a 4-3-3. He'll be a great fit over there. In the future, I really see him doing that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Mancini this episode.
I mean...
Okay, Mancini's been sacked about time.
No, he left.
Yes,
he left.
You're right. Mancini has resigned.
Yes, and it's
between
Italiano and...
No, Spalletti and Conte.
Italiano, sorry. It's between Spalletti and Conte. However, if Italy decide to go for Spalletti, they owe Napoli 3 million because he took the year off and he's still, there's some contract shit. So Conte's looking more likely, but Conte's still more expensive. We'll see what happens. I would prefer to have Spalletti.
Conte would be a backwards move because you move back to a 3 at the back formation, you call the old guard, you do the whole...
Italy aren't equipped for his system.
Exactly, yes. And I think with the 4-3-3, Italy were doing very well. They won the Euros with it, and I think Spalletti's a natural at the 4-3-3, and the players fit it. I think it's push for Spalletti. Just go for Spalletti. But anyway.
Yes. But 8th, Fiorentina, yes. I still think the other teams will overpower them slightly. I think they'll still have another year of battling it out a little bit. The top 7 are very strong.
For the first time in a while, I think Fiorentina, since Vlahovic probably, will have better firepower. I don't think Cabral and Jovic were very good.
Is Jovic still there, no?
Jovic is still there, but so is Nzola and so is Beltran now. Nzola, of course, from Spezia for 10 million. Beltran from River Plate for 20 million. Now that's going to be an interesting one to see. I think Fiorentina will actually have better strikers this year.
They've also gotten rid of Igor and replaced him with Yerry Mina. And they also have Arthur in midfield. Yeah. A lot of good pieces that they picked up. Parisi, of course. Yeah. Parisi at the left back spot. Maybe an inverted right back. Who knows? He's a very versatile player. And Italiano does like his inverted players.
Yes. 7th.
3, 2, 1.
Roma.
Lazio. Oh my God. Okay.
I put Roma there.
Okay.
Yes.
I put Lazio.
Now it was, I changed this last minute to be honest. I had Lazio there. Then I remembered. So Mourinho has the third season syndrome. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes.
Third season goes to shit for him. I don't know if this will quite be the same case. Many of the signings they're making they look good, they look smart, but at the end of the day, they are low cost. They are, beggars can't be choosers, quite frankly. Lazio, on the other hand, man, are really molding into this Sarri ball system. They're buying smart. They've just brought in Rovella, now would be a good 6. Granted, they've lost Milinkovic-Savic, but they still have many good pieces over there. And they've brought in Castellanos as well, who looks good. I'm not sure if they'll be able to keep up with 3 competitions, but knowing Lazio, they'll just throw away the European competition and just focus on the league.
Look,
as usual.
Lazio, I agree with you for sure. Sarri ball, Rovella, Kamada.
Kamada, exactly. Imagine Kamada with those late runs into the box.
But 0 squad depth. They have the worst depth when it comes to the top 8. I believe Lazio have the worst squad depth. Immobile last season significantly struggled with injury.
Yes.
Okay, they managed to make do with Philip Anderson up top. Now they brought in Castellanos as well, but it's his first season coming out of a league like MLS, so that'll take a lot of figuring out over there. And imagine Lazio without Sergei and Ciro. Think about how much weaker they are. Yes, they have a great midfield. Yes, they will be competing, but I think towards the end, playing 3 competitions and without having their key players, they will start to digress. And I think 7th is where they'll end up.
When it comes to Lazio's depth, I don't know. There's summer signings. Again, Kamada, Castellanos, Isaacson, Rovella, Pellegrini, and soon apparently they're going to get Hugo Lloris in goal. They're trying to get him. I think they actually
big whoop.
No, bro,
Hugo Lloris.
Strengthen,
big whoop, Hugo Lloris.
Whatever, but the point is they actually do have a bit of depth, and I actually think that they can have a good season. And even having them out of the top 4 for me was hard because I don't think they've worsened too much. And last year they finished 2nd, so having them all the way down in 6 is already a lot for me.
It's hard having any of these guys out of the top 4. It's the easiest to have Lazio, in my opinion, out of that top 4.
Fair enough.
Even though they looked very strong last year, again, 2 key pieces. Well, one of them is definitely out. And Sergei is very important for that. Their most important player. Ciro is another one of their most important players. He's been struggling significantly with injuries. We know what he's like when he's off form as well. Luis Alberto, how long until he says, I want to go to Spain? Halfway through the season and he starts flailing his arms
bro,
about
but
he'll
still continue playing well. And that's what you get with Luis Alberto. You get a moaning Myrtle, but he'll still fucking do well.
Score that goal against him.
And then he'll look at the president and give him the bird, but he's still going to score goals.
So you have Lazio in 6th.
Yes.
I have Roma in 6th.
So
I think like you said, Roma, Mourinho syndrome and all that. I think actually, low budget signings. I think they've upgraded with the 3 at the back. I think Ndika was a good signing. I think he's a very, very good 3 at the back centre back. I think he's athletic. I think he's large. I think he's strong. I think he's very smart with the way he plays. Ndika was definitely a great signing. And that's why Mourinho liked him. And I think they made some signings that are very Mourinho signings. Like, for example, you're going to say Paredes was shit at Juve. Paredes will not be shit at Roma.
I don't know.
Mourinho will turn an animal out of a player like Paredes.
I think skill set wise, Paredes doesn't match what Mourinho typically wants, but personality wise, he's a Mourinho player.
Mancini, Paredes, all in the same team.
You've got a team that's going to be a nightmare to play against.
Yes, and they always do that. And I think, again, it was hard having them down in 6th.
Yeah. They need a striker.
Their striker situation.
You can't go on with Bellotti.
You can't. And Tammy, I mean, who are they in for recently? They've been being linked to Duvan Zapata.
Duvan Zapata,
like,
yes.
give me a break kind of thing. No, isn't Duvan a bit washed at this point?
He is a bit, or he definitely looks a bit washed. But to be fair, Gasperini only ever gives him 45 minutes at most.
Yeah.
So yeah. Fifth, bro. This is where I went rogue. Huh?
I think I know what you did.
What
If it's the same as last episode,
What do you think I did?
you put Napoli down in fifth.
I didn't put them. I changed my mind when I was looking at
I
it
changed
properly.
my mind so much.
Yes,
bro.
I was sat down. I was actually looking at it properly and in depth, and
No
it's
way.
hard, you can't drop Napoli
No
for
way.
the top four. No chance.
No way. They're a guarantee almost. Fifth, 3, 2, 1,
Inter.
Atalanta. Oi! He's only gone and done it. He's only gone and done it.
Yes.
Inter.
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Okay, so I think they have.
I don't have them much further up, but why? Why?
They have holes in their team. They have a new. Okay, so they have a hole at the back. I think they need a centre back badly.
Yes.
I think the striker situation hasn't been solved because Arnautovic, granted, is a smart player and he's very capable on his day. But
tears his cruciate.
he's gonna tear his fucking cruciate 4 games and then they're gonna be stuck with Correa and Thuram. And
He can work. If he stays fit, he can really work.
They're trying to offload Correa, no one wants him. You know, Thuram isn't the type of player to score more than 10 goals. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Lautaro Martinez. And when he hits his dry spell, it might be too late. You know what I mean? Because he does go every season 8 games without scoring. Lautaro, he'll be invisible.
Yeah, January, February is Lautaro's worst period.
I don't like the right wing backs. I don't think Dumfries is great. I think Cuadrado is kind of old and kind of washed as well. Now, granted, obviously,
Tries too hard.
Obviously, Inter are still a great team. Obviously, Inter have a good squad on paper. But I don't know, man. When I look at the other teams in the top 4 remaining for me, so in no particular order, there's Milan, Atalanta, Juve, Napoli, in no particular order again, because I don't want to spoil it in the next 5 minutes. I think that they have deeper squads. I think they will be able to make more out of the games.
What you're doing right now is selling me. So
Have you
I
been
don't. So no is the answer, but I definitely see where you're coming from. There are a lot of holes in their game. One thing you didn't even address, which is one of the biggest points, is that they lost Brozovic.
Yes,
They lost their fucking
They've
metro.
lost.
They're gonna have Hakan as their register. Now he was good. Can I do it for an entire season? Is that the sustainable option they want to go for having a trequartista playing as a regista? Is that what they want? I don't think so.
They've lost a key piece in every position.
Yes.
Onana to Sommer. Granted, Sommer is a good goalkeeper, but he's no Onana. They've lost Skriniar at the back and Acerbi's fallen injured. Let's be real. It's going to happen. And they've signed Bissek, who they're hoping will be a Chow-like kind of signing out of nowhere for 9 million and he'll be amazing. You know, that's what they're hoping for. Granted, Bastoni's amazing, yes, but it leaves a lot to be desired. Brozovic, as you said, in the middle, key piece to their game, probably their most important midfielder. I would say he was more important than Barella is for them because he would keep everything ticking. Brozovic was the metronome, tireless worker, can do it all offensively and defensively. He could do it all. For me, he was so important, key piece.
Pressure resistance, very good.
And then Lukaku, a point of reference up front. Granted,
And Dzeko.
yeah.
Both those guys. To me, they were like one consistent person. Like.
So I have Inter in
And
fifth.
they need a striker that can be the focal point. I think Arnautovic could be that, but he's not. I don't think Thuram could be that. They still need a big boy, a target man.
I think Arnautovic is that, but for how long?
But he is and he isn't. Like he is, but he isn't Dzeko. He isn't Lukaku. He doesn't have. He has good hold-up play, but he doesn't have their size, their strength. He doesn't quite have
He's a
that.
giant,
I still like having him around the box a little bit, and in fact, that's how Bologna utilized him. He wasn't a direct target man for them, but rather someone that can carry the ball into the box a little bit as well. And I don't know. I think you might be right. I put Inter in fourth. I have Atalanta in fifth. I think Atalanta have had the second best mercato this season behind Milan. I think they will significantly improve, but I think there are steps to take with that process. And I think step number 1 is getting that little bit closer. And I think that little bit closer is 5th place.
Okay, good. So in fact, in fourth, I have Atalanta.
And why is that?
making that Champions League spot, because we know how Gasperini can get this team ticking. I think they've moved extremely smart in the market. I'm really excited to see Bakker. I'm really excited to see Scamacca and El Bilal Toure up front. Finally, they've moved away from Duvan and Muriel, who were really holding them back, because they have a great team, and those two guys were looking as washed up as ever, kind of ruining the squad. Coop Miners, managing to keep Coop Miners was a massive, massive win for Atalanta, because he is a top 5 midfielder in the league easily.
I agree.
And I'm probably being generous.
Yes. What about the
I'm probably not being
Decatelare?
generous.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was going to say.
What do you think about the Decatelare signing for
I
them?
think Decatelare is going to go in looking like Decatelare, and he's going to leave looking like Pons, bro. He's going to leave looking like our last guest on the podcast, Luca Panzavecchia. He's going to leave jacked out of his mind, bro. No, joking aside, he'll have less pressure in Bergamo.
I think
he will get he'll have fewer minutes.
He'll be rotated.
Yes, he'll be rotated, just like everyone else at Atalanta's rotated. And I think it'll get him going. I think playing in a team that's extremely systematic will actually give him confidence, because he'll rack up the numbers without having to improvise.
Yeah.
I feel like with Pioli's system, a lot of improvisation is needed. I think in a Gasperini system, you don't need to improvise much.
100%.
You're told what to do through and through. And I feel like his confidence is going to skyrocket, and we'll really see the quality of it. Yeah. Now, this is a great deal for Atalanta, because if he flops, you send him back to Milan. If he's great, you sign him.
What a stupid business by Milan in this sense, because if he flops, then he just goes back to Milan. If he does well, they get him at a cut.
Yeah.
But then if he does well and they sign and they end up signing him, Milan make 25 million plus add-ons, and then if they sell him, Milan get 10% of his sale. So they'll end up making their money back in that sense, but still over the next 2-3 years, it's not great business by Milan, I think. No. And I agree with you completely. I think in a very systematic team where if he steps out of line, if he makes the wrong decisions, if he's not listening to his coach, if he isn't at the right place at the right time, he's out.
Yeah.
Papu Gomez, their captain, went out with no problem whatsoever. Gasperini didn't blink before throwing him to La Liga.
Yes.
And it'll be no different. So Decatelare knows what's on. He has an easier job because he has to stick to a system, and him carrying out that system will make him a top player for Atalanta. That'll build his confidence. Then maybe he'll have a crack at goal from distance. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's like he put a lot of pressure on himself at Milan. I feel like his teammates put a lot of pressure on him. Now's your time.
He's going to be playing, bro. He's going to be training every day alongside Pasalic and Coop Miners. They're going to his brain is going to explode with knowledge, bro, because these guys will be like, hey, keep it simple, do this, look for this, move into this space over here. These guys are so intelligent. They're so intelligent with their movement that there aren't two better midfielders you can learn from in the league.
100%. 100%. This is the attacking midfielder that fucking hell, Jesus. Gasperini, brain fog as fuck, that Gasperini is looking for. Probably not. Is he one that he can mold? Maybe. Who do you have in third?
Did you tell me you have in fourth? It's Inter, right?
Inter, yes.
In third, I have Milan.
Okay.
Yes. I think, look, once again, speaking of Inter's holes, I think Milan have 2 holes also, very similar to Inter. Not as blatant, in my opinion. I don't think Milan weakened that much, because there was one significant departure in Tonali. We're yet to see if Krunic is going to stay or go. Apparently, he's pushing to leave to go to Turkey. That would be terrible, in my opinion.
Yep, devastating.
Now,
for the first half of the season.
So, no, it's the striker situation that's stressing me out when it comes to Milan, because Giroud, we watched him in the Berlusconi trophy, I think Trofeo Berlusconi, and he was down holding his ankles 7 times. He went off, he was bandaged up and iced up, and this is just a pre-season friendly, essentially. Granted,
he was running his ass off, to be fair.
Yes, but he has 38 league games to play. He's got Champions League games and Coppa Italia games to play right now, without a vice, with the only vice being Lorenzo Colombo.
No.
Okafor, yes, but
Okafor in a false 9 is a plan.
But Okafor is not Pioli's type of striker. Pioli has said that he wants a target man. He wants a reference point.
Yeah, but fuck that. It's important to be versatile. It's important to have two different styles of strikers. That is one of the reasons that he was opted for.
In pre-season, Okafor has been deployed as a left winger solely.
In training, he's being deployed a lot as a false nine, and Pioli is looking into the false nine as well. Apparently, now this is hearsay because I could only rely on the sources that feed me this information.
Fair enough. I think it's obvious though that Milan needs a striker, and I think there's no coincidence that Lukaku is being rumored to Milan, that Taremi is being rumored to Milan, Morata at one point was rumored to Milan. Of course, Milan do need another striker, and for me, Boulaye Dia. Go for Boulaye Dia.
Yeah, I think Boulaye Dia is the best option at this point. Serie A experienced, target man, nimble as well, clever, good finishing. I think it's a no-brainer. I'll get to my Milan point later because obviously I have them a bit higher up the table than you. I think Napoli finish in third. Now Napoli, it's gonna be tight. I don't think they're third because they're gonna significantly get worse. I think they still have Gvara, they still have Osimhen, they still have Lobotka, they still have Anguissa, they still have Rahmani, they still have Meret, they still have Di Lorenzo. They're still that motherfucking team. They're still a phenomenal team, and their swagger will still be about them because they're essentially the same 11. But you lose Spalletti, you bring in Rudy Garcia. First season back in Serie A, in a team that bled on the pitch for Spalletti. So adjusting that system, albeit it's a very similar system that Rudy deploys to the one that Spalletti deploys, it's never easy starting the season with a new manager, right? I think that Kim is a big loss for them. And I think they're putting a lot of hopes on this Nathan guy, bringing him in, and he will be switching, he will be rotating a lot with Norwegian centre-back. He was at Brighton.
Ostegard.
Yeah. I think he'll be rotating a lot with him. And I think they are going to have a bit of a misbalance over there. If they lose Zielinski, it will be quite bad.
He apparently has decided to stay.
He has decided to stay?
Yes, apparently.
Okay. I still think Napoli will digress slightly. They'll still have a good season, but I don't think that... So what did Napoli struggle with a lot before getting Spalletti?
Many things.
Keeping the same firepower for the entirety of the season. That start off insanely well and they'll start to digress later on. They lose that fire or they get injuries, so on and so forth. I think that with Spalletti gone, that can happen again. I think they can have a strong start and I think they can start to digress. They're going to have 3 competitions and yeah, that's what I think.
Bro, I'm sorry. I was trying to not correct you, but you said it like 5 times.
Regress. Oh my god. Fuck it. Regress. We are from Malta.
I was like, we'll skip this one. I was like, he said it again. 3 times.
And then I'm like, regress.
I'm like, I have to tell him something.
Oh god, that episode name, Regress.
But anyway.
Next time I'm getting it on with Kia, I'm like, hey, digress.
So do you mean undress? Like, no, digress.
Like Napoli.
Yeah. Fair enough with the Napoli points. I have Napoli in second.
Oh my god, you dirty shit.
Yes, bro. That means that, of course, I might as well say it. I have Juve to win the league.
Okay, I have Juve in second, and I have Milan to win the league. I think we'll both agree as to why we believe Juve will be somewhere between first and second. Would you care to share your reason?
Juve are sleepers right now. They're sleeper pick. They will only be taking part in one competition. They have a manager who is fantastic at winning ugly. Granted, he doesn't play beautiful football. Granted, he's probably one of the most hated men in Italy, particularly by his own fans, you know, which is sad, obviously, because his football does give results. And last season on the pitch, they finished second.
Yeah, exactly.
Granted, they haven't made many signings, but they're in talks, of course, for Berardi, and there's still 2 weeks left in the window. And I think with what they have at the moment, they have enough to play once a week, to win most of their games, and to fucking win the league, man.
I think they'll do very well. Will they win the league? They'll definitely be contenders. I mean, even the signing of Weah, you lose Cuadrado and you gain Weah. I think Weah is going to be a very good player moving forward. The only thing that scares me is the lack of confidence they have in Vlahovic is a worrying thing. I think if they trade him out to bring Lukaku in, for example, which has been rumoured for a while now, I don't know the progression on that, whether or not they're going to do it. It's kind of this exhausting one to follow, this exhausting saga, this Lukaku one. I hate following this Lukaku saga. I think they remove Vlahovic and bring in Lukaku, and they've regressed. They shoot themselves at the foot significantly.
I mean, he's still going to obviously help them finish top 4. Like, there's no, Lukaku or Vlahovic, they still get top 4, in my opinion.
Yeah, they're Juve. Juve get top 4.
Now, when it comes to the league, maybe you still win the league with Lukaku as well. I mean, I don't think Juve are that reliant on their striker, per se. I think they, for example, one set piece and it's a Danilo goal and they win 1-0.
Yeah.
Their striker doesn't need to score 20 goals. They're not that type of team. They're not going to blow you out of the water. They're going to win smart and they're going to win ugly.
Yeah, but Lukaku
They just need a hustler, They need someone to press the lines. They need someone to fucking pull the man away from the midfielder, to create space for the wingers to run in.
Lukaku as a sole striker for Juve doesn't work. He doesn't. He's too clumsy. He's too clunky.
But that applies to any team.
As a sole striker, I think it's right. I think with Inter, he fitted in more.
So you're saying he needs someone next to him?
He's good at like absorbing the pressure, clearing the ball off the opponent's line every now and then. Playing goalkeeper is great at penalties. I wouldn't say he's mad in the air. I think a lot of people think he's mad in the air because of his size. I think he pussies out a lot when the ball's in the air. I don't think he's a brave striker at all. I think he's a bit of a wuss, and I think he's a bit of a bitch, if I'm being honest, Lukaku. I think so. I think he's unprofessional. I think he's a bitch. I think if Juve get him, they're making a terrible mistake. I think Juve can finish very high up the table. If their front three is going to be Chiesa, Berardi, Vlahovic, wow. They, of course, have patched up that midfield quite a bit. Can Pogba stay fit? That's always a question mark.
They might have, exactly. If Chiesa and Pogba can have injury-free seasons,
Pogba won't have an injury-free season, but...
Probably not, but Chiesa might.
Chiesa might.
Yes. Milan, for me, have too many new signings, bro. There are many question marks. There's the fact that, for example, do you have a proper 6 in the team until Benacer gets back? Do you have that Regista? Not quite. Do you have a striker who's going to get you 20 goals a season to win the league? You don't really have that.
No, but Milan doesn't have that.
Is Chukwueze going to settle and immediately burst onto the scene, or is he going to struggle at first? What about Reiners? How is he going to do? Okay. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Pulisic, can they stay healthy?
Take a deep breath. I'm going to explain to you why I think Milan have what it takes. This doesn't mean that they're going to win the league, but it means that I have faith that Milan will, despite all of these new players. I understand that in 2009, when Real Madrid bought Ronaldo, Kaká, Benzema, Xabi Alonso, they didn't win the league. Okay, they were up against Pep's Barca, but they didn't win the league. I understand that getting so many new players, putting them all together, first season, you're going to struggle the same way Chelsea are going to struggle this season. But then next season, through the investments of the past, as Mourinho says, from the past... they will improve. However, Pioli is one of the most cautious managers I have come across. Pioli is a guy that always starts players that have been there and that know the system. I trust that Pioli will start to integrate these players slowly and naturally into the team. Now, Milan, what did they lose from the team of last year and the team of the year before that won them the league?
So in the first 2 months of the season, they will have no Tonali, they will have no Benacer, and they might have no Krunic. And that is the midfield 3 that they played with all season last season.
Okay, yes, the midfield, there is significant change.
Yes, and that's a massive...
Of course, it's massive. Milan won't do well in the first half of the season. Milan won't be winter champions. Definitely not. They have Benacer out. Probably Krunic out, a brand new midfield 3. Milan are going to struggle to get going, but I think they pick up after the winter break. I believe that for the start of the season, Okafor won't play. I think Chukwueze won't play too much.
So this is saying, of course, Okafor won't play if Milan do sign a striker, I assume you're saying.
I think Giroud will start most games.
But Giroud can't start most games.
Giroud started most games last year, and Giroud did well.
He did well, year. Bro. But look at the numbers. Look at the. Dude, he was so
Leao's going to score more goals. Leao is going to score more goals this year.
That is more convincing.
And Milan have more players that can score goals this year. What did Milan lose from last year? They lost Tonali, okay, and probably Krunic, right? What did they do? Milan kept the same back four, kept the same goalkeeper. Midfield three is essentially new. And they patched up the right wing issue, which they've had for ages. They've brought in Ruben Loftus-Cheek, that is incredibly technically gifted, strong, can play box to box, can play 10 closer to the striker. Okay? They kept Leao, they kept Giroud, and now they just have more squad depth. Right? Towards the second half of next season, they're going to have Ben Nasser in midfield. They're going to have Reinders, and they're going to have Loftus-Cheek, who will have more game time to their favour. Reinders, there's no need to explain what a talent this guy is. He sees things before they happen. He's incredibly gifted at carrying the ball forward. His passing is immaculate. He's a brilliant, brilliant player. He just needs to grow into the system more.
Exactly.
Loftus-Cheek is the one to watch for Milan if he stays fit. That midfield is going to be fucking fire second half of the season. And what happens? And then, bro, what happens? There's an injury, you bring on Musa. Pulisic isn't playing well, you bring on Chukwueze. Chukwueze starts starting. We're playing this team. Let's do a 4-2-3-1. Let's play Pulisic in attacking midfield. Oh no, Giroud's out. We've been trying this 4-3-3 with a false 9. Let's bring on Okafor. Leao is injured. Let's play Okafor. Milan finally have. The thing that lost Milan the league last year is their lack of squad depth. Even the fact that Tatarusanu was playing, now they have Sportiello. Milan now have the depth it takes for them to perform game in, game out.
But I agree on paper, yes, but it might be an illusion. Because coming into last season, we said the same thing. We said, Milan have more depth now. Granted, Keski's gone, Milan have more depth.
The depth was Pobega and Adli, though.
But we don't know. And De Ketelare, who once again every Milan fan was high on De Ketelare. This is they're high on Reinders. Now, granted, Reinders has had a fantastic preseason and has shown great quality, and I'm confident he's going to be great. But I don't know. I think Milan aren't the type of team to bow out of the Champions League. I think they'll want to get far in that. I think they'll want to try to do their best in every competition, and I think that might cost them the league. I don't know.
It could very much be.
Yeah. I can't imagine Milan winning the league first season after this overhaul, after bringing in all these players. I can't see Milan winning the league.
No, that's fair enough. There is going to be a period where these players are going to need to get used to the league more. And typically when you sign 8 players, it's not like you sign 8 players to keep. Yeah. But you sign 8 players to filter out 3 and keep 5 and then re-strengthen. That's the way these things go. But I really think that with Pioli having a bigger say in who they sign, a bigger say in everything, in the bigger picture of the transfer market, with Milan finally splashing the cash and Milan investing in further areas, with Milan having more of the squad depth, all they need is a striker with Serie A experience that can get them goals. If they get that, to me, they're not head and shoulders above the rest, but they're ahead. They're ahead. The depth that they have, Pulisic, Chukwueze,
we've mentioned them a million times.
Okafor, Giroud, Reinders, Loftus. You're joking. Like, you're joking.
Yes. But again, come against a low block, you need a target man in the box. If Giroud's injured, it's going to be tough. And granted, Giroud, God bless him, really doesn't get injured that much.
Really wasn't injured last year. He was playing 3 games a fucking week, bro.
Bro's 37, like.
Yes, it's a problem, but the same way it was a problem last year, and the same way he had a magnificent season last season. But anyway, I think I'm not too confident on this to keep on arguing my case. I think it's we had to make a decision, and we made that decision. Why don't we go through the teams and say who we believe the strongest signing was of each team, who the one to watch?
Can I say, bro, man, I dislike making predictions.
I hate it.
I hate making predictions.
I love this because there's no there's little prep, and it's more like our opinions, and we just get to shit talk culture. You know what I mean? It's not the stats and who did what and whatnot. Like, there's nothing to follow. So I enjoy these episodes a lot, but man, oh man. And I think 3 months into the league, everything we said doesn't count anymore. Like that time we predicted Juve will do a certain way because they have Ronaldo, you know, and he left after scoring an offside goal and ripping his shirt off.
Exactly. You know, Osimhen leaves Napoli, for example.
Yeah.
What happens there?
200 million.
No, but he's probably going to renew with a 150 million release clause.
I saw, and he wants to keep that so that he has the option to move to England whenever he wants.
And Napoli are basically not... They're trying to keep the situation calm so he doesn't leave for free. But yes, okay, bro. So let's go into our arrivals to watch. So we have picked out one player each from each of the 20 Serie A teams to keep an eye on the season. And we'll briefly go through them. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the order is different because we have different league tables.
But we'll organize it. You say Napoli, we do Napoli.
Okay.
You know
So shall I be the...
Yeah, do that.
Okay. So let's start with Juve.
Okay. I mean, Juve so far have pretty much made one signing now, unless they sign Berardi. Weah is the one to watch.
Exactly. For now, it's Weah. Will he be deployed as a right wing back? Will he be deployed as a striker? It's yet to be seen, but the boy is definitely exciting.
Yeah, and Allegri likes these players. He likes these players that can fit anywhere. He likes a Rabiot that can play on the wing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Napoli, bro.
Where's my bear?
Who do you have?
For Napoli, I mean, so far, unless they sign Garcia...
Vega.
Sorry, ain't Garcia.
Who the fuck is
their manager. Unless they sign Vega, who looks very, very fucking good. His passing, his movement. He's a very Spanish player, so to say.
21 years old from Celta Vigo. Last season scored 11 goals and got 4 assists in La Liga. Very exciting player.
Now, he's not confirmed yet, so I can't say him. So I will say Nathan for the time being. Centre back, I think anyone that goes next to Rahmani looks good. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but I think Nathan has what it takes.
Yes, he is a former Flamengo player, Red Bull Bragantino player. He played in Brazil, basically. So it's a Giuntoli-esque move.
Yeah.
Okay, so Milan.
I struggle so much here.
Picking one is hard, when they
because
like
Milan, Milan struggled with the right wing last year. Messias and Salamakers. Now they have Chukwueze, they have Pulisic, so you'd say maybe it's one of those. And then Reinders, with the way that he's been looking all pre-season, and I was most hyped for Reinders, but I think with the 4-3-3, the way it is, if Loftus-Cheek can stay fit, man oh man.
Cool.
Man oh man. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, if he can stay fit, play in the 10, he'll play in the 8, and he'll be such a good midfielder.
Yeah, he's good. I think it's Reinders. I'm very excited from what I've seen so far. I think he sees things ahead of time. You know what I mean? He sees things before everyone else, and I'm excited to see to what extent he can actually play as well as he's been playing.
Yeah.
I want to see what he's capable of. You know, get a proper sample. You know, get like 5 games, 10 games, and to see what he's done. You know,
I get you, man.
Same with Chukwueze, to be honest, bro. Like Milan haven't had a proper good right winger since God knows who. Like
Suso.
Yeah. Fear not the man who knows 100 kicks. But fear the man who knows 1 kick. What was it? Who's practiced one kick 100 times? What the fuck was it?
No idea what you're talking about. You sound like fucking Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, dog. Alright? And fear not the man who knows 100
No,
kicks.
I think it's fear not the man who has practiced 100 kicks, but fear the man who has practiced 1 kick 100 times. And that sums up Suso beautifully.
That's beautiful.
Thanks, bro. I wish I nailed it the first time.
We'll edit it. No, we won't, because we don't edit this shit.
Yeah, we only cut out a few M's when we start stuttering, you know.
Yeah, and when Jacob calls me really mean names as well, we cut them out. Just one more point about this Loftus-Cheek thing that I'm so hyped for.
Tell me, idiot.
So I think Pioli is opting for a very, very, very high press attacking style next year. And I think Ruben is such a good fit for that in midfield. Yeah, that's pretty much it, bro.
Fair enough. Atalanta. Scamacca, right? For the sake of being different, Bakker. I'm curious.
Bakker looks good. He looks very good.
He's the man who moves sideways.
Yeah, he's the crab.
The
oh
crab.
my god, we're doing the crab today, bro. That's wild. That's right.
This Bakker guy cuts in a lot, and he often runs sideways instead of forward. And for a fullback, that's very strange.
He's the left wing back that they've needed since offloading Gosens.
But yes, Scamacca, of course, is the one everyone's excited to see. Under Gasperini, God knows what's going to happen to him. He is a good target man, but he's also incredible. And I think this is where he thrives, at build-up play from outside the box. He can shoot from a distance. He's got a rocket in his pocket. And I'm curious to see what he'll be like back in Serie A. As I said earlier, he's a dark horse for the capocannoniere. Inter.
Carlos Augusto.
You know, I put him to, oh God. I just want to see if he manages to displace Di Marco, because he's a fantastic player, and that's going to be a battle on the side.
I think
maybe you might even end up with one of them on the right, because they're so good, both of them. Di Marco and Carlos Augusto are both fantastic.
Maybe, man.
And Dumfries and Cuadrado are both meh.
Maybe. I'm not too confident about the rest of the Inter signings. I think you know what you're going to get with Frattesi. I think Thuram still needs to prove himself. He's never been a real goal-scoring striker. And he kind of needs to prove that in Serie A. I think Sommer was a good signing for them, but, you know, Carlos Augusto stands out as Inter signing of the Mercato.
Yes. I'm also curious to see how Arnie adapts.
Yeah.
Because Arnautovic...
After or before the surgery?
He can be a great player.
Yeah,
we've seen even last season with Bologna, he had a very strong start to the season. He can definitely contribute. Lazio. Kamada, very nice. I put Castellanos simply because I think he'll be playing a very pivotal role when it comes to the forward line. He plays purely as a 9, right? Castellanos.
Yeah, Tati Castellanos.
Yes, I think Immobile has struggled with injuries and with fitness recently, and I think Castellanos will feature quite a lot, and I'm curious to see what he can do. Kamada, though, is very interesting. I think he's a very intelligent player, and I think he can attack the space very well, and having intelligent players around you like Pedro and Zaccagni, it's very good.
And I think as well, Rovella is a very good signing for them.
Good shout, bro. Rovella.
Someone like Lucas Leiva of sorts, someone like a Cesale of sorts that can move the ball around a little bit. Yeah,
Juve fans were pissed, bro, because they brought him in for like 26 million and offloaded him for 17.
Oh my!
They made a loss on him, and he got better.
God.
So they're just
drug money had to go somewhere.
They're desperate to sell Juve, and unfortunately they had to settle for a deal of that nature. Roma,
I put Paredes. Now, obviously, the first thought that came to mind for Roma was Indica, because he's so good for that back three. But I really think that with the balls that Paredes has on him, and technically he's not a bad footballer at all, I think...
His CV is fantastic.
Yeah, but I really think that Mourinho could make something out of Paredes. And I think he'll be... not a staple, but I think he'll definitely prove his worth.
Okay. A rival to watch for me is Renato Sanchez, because I'm curious to see if he can stay healthy and if he can play at the levels that we have seen him play before, because if that's the case, and they have a hell of a midfielder.
Yeah, absolutely. We know, because we've been watching highlights of him because it was linked to Milan for so long. That never went through. Leao commenting on his shit.
Fiorentina
have Parisi. It's funny, I had Yeremina initially, man. Just because he's such a shithouse, gets on people's nerves. He's a game player. He's a game player, bro. And I like that signing, but what a talent Parisi is. Will he manage to displace Biraghi, considering that he's captain? Will he be placed as a right back? I don't know what's going to happen, but I can't not choose Parisi over here.
Yeah, Parisi is a very good shout. I went for Nzola because I want to see how he can cut it with better teammates around him. Nzola looked like a one-man army in games with Spezia. I remember particularly a game that stood out was his game against Inter last season, where they were just giving him the ball in midfield, and like no one could do anything about him. He was a rhino, a charging rhino, honestly.
I was sexually attracted to him in this game. He looked so good. Like, the way he was holding up play, and just his muscles were just man after man, just bumping into his back, trying to shove him off the ball. He looked like fucking Kessie, bro. He looked like Kessie with the body of Seedorf. Like,
now we know Matt's type.
Yeah.
For me, though, there are two sides to Nzola. There's the play-out final Nzola, and then there's the Inter game Nzola. He can look terrible when he's off his game.
Yeah.
Torino,
where are Torino? Bellanova.
Same here.
This
Redemption
fun,
time. Yes, kicked out of Milan, kicked out of Inter. What can he do at Torino?
Kicked out of Juve's dressing room.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. That's what we're gonna say.
Bologna.
I mean, Ndoye, he looks like a good winger. They just lost Soriano. Here we go, arguing is Soriano a winger though. I think he plays on the left, Ndoye, and I think he's a good winger.
I put, I'm not sure how to say his name. Looks like leukemia, probably pronounced Bukemia, Beukema, Beukema. What's his name?
Bureaucracy.
You know Beukema?
I've seen his name around before. Yeah, he's the one.
Back.
Yeah, exactly. He's Dutch.
Yeah, apparently he's very good, and I'm excited to see him. His name's Sam. Let's call him Sam.
Yeah, let's call him Sam. I like the name
excited
Sam.
to see Sam.
Yeah, unisex.
Yes. Number, Madonna. Genoa.
Number Genoa.
So Genoa have a new trident, which we have discussed, all right?
Yes.
They have Malinovsky, Messias, Retegui up front. But for me, Retegui. I can't wait.
Retegui.
I don't know why. He's hyped me up, man.
If he scores within the first 5 games, I'm buying his shirt. It's as simple as that. You have a Genoa.
Yes, I have a Goran Pandev shirt.
Oh man, Malinovsky is such a good player, bro.
Malinovsky is once again the same thing.
I'm so happy
pony,
he's
but he's
back
very good
in Serie A, bro. Yes. I'm so happy, and I don't know how Genoa managed to get their hands on him because he went from Atalanta to Marseille and then to Genoa, bro.
He didn't quite do well at Marseille, and he needed a route back to Italy. Genoa have a very interesting project with new American owners who are investing heavily, and their team actually looks good, and they look like they're going to be a staple in Serie A.
A stay to here
in Serie A. Yes, Retegui. Okay. Sassuolo.
I know Mulattieri and all of these guys, but Volpato in their midfield is going to be fire, bro. He's going to be fire in their midfield. I look forward to Volpato. And he finally gets a chance as well.
Fair enough. I've put Mulattieri.
You think he's going to be the starting striker?
I don't know. I mean, judging by how Pinamonti has played...
Probably.
I don't think that he's totally irreplaceable. I think Mulattieri can get a lot of game time. And I think that in pre-season he's looked fantastic. And they spent quite a bit on him for their standards. But yes, I think he's the player to watch. Keep your eye on Mulattieri.
Very good.
Udinese.
3, 2, 1. Lucca.
Yes.
6'7" striker. How could you not choose him?
6'7" striker. I'm just gonna stop there. 6'7" striker.
Yeah. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy.
Yes.
These are my favorite players. Strikers that are like basketball players are my favorite players. Those and the small number 6.
You'd think, all right, Lucca is 6'7", which means he'll probably hang in the box, has a terrible first touch, and will score a bunch of headers. Not at all. The bro is a ballerina on the ball. The bro is a ballerina.
The bro is a ballerina.
Yes. English as a second language. No,
Monza, where are you? Gagliardini.
I mean,
again, with Rovella gone, he brings a good balance to the team, man.
Yes. And he's a bit of a...
Say it.
I can't. All right, Empoli.
Cancelleri.
I'm so excited to see him at Empoli.
Cancelleri is a very good player. He showed it at Lazio and he showed it at Verona. The fact that he hasn't like stuck around at either of them
because
blows my mind.
He's not refined. He's explosive, he's physical, he's aggressive, but he's not quite refined. And I don't think tactically he's as intelligent as he
maybe that's
he
the coaching
be.
stuff.
But yes, we'll see how he manages to cope. At Empoli, they have a good system. Let's see if Zanetti can get through to him, or if he'll have to talk to him the way he talked to Henry when he was at Venezia. Remember?
That was great,
hilarious,
man.
So the fucking swearing at
that
him.
was great. That video got so many views on our TikTok.
Cagliari.
Okay, I have a dilemma over here, so just give me a sec. Because I want to say Shomorodov, I really want to say Shomorodov, but then you see how bad that Spets. Because I was gonna say Shomorodov because Lapadula is out for the start of the season.
That's my argument.
So he's a vice.
Yes.
What happened when Nzola was injured and they brought in Shomorodov as a vice? He did nothing.
Yes,
and I just feel like he's the.
But he's gonna be managed by Ranieri, you know.
He is, I think, the one to watch is Augello.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes, Augello's fantastic.
I'll choose him because Shomorodov, I hope he proves me wrong because on his day he's a great player. But yeah, Augello.
Hellas Verona, 3-2-1 Saponara. Okay,
Next.
very easy. If you love football, you love Saponara. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
Okay.
And have you ever wanted to be that player? All right, that has a beer, a cigar. You know what I mean? You look like a human being, and then you go onto the pitch and you produce a masterclass. That, my friend, sums up Ricky Saponara perfectly.
I think it's more like a glass of wine and a massive plate of pasta.
Yes. That guy
Yeah.
definitely superhuman. Seems like a lovely, down-to-earth guy as well. He wrote one of the most beautiful
He's a good man.
fucking
Saponara. Everyone says.
tributes to a story.
Yeah, it was
It
lovely.
was gorgeous. You know, I have such a soft spot for him, and my God, how I would love to meet him, man. My God.
One day, bro. Salernitana.
Stewart.
Jamaican guy with the gravity defying.
Yeah, but Buddha, big yell.
People think we're Jamaican, which is hilarious.
But I know why, because we say, yeah, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So I guess it's that.
yeah, man. Moving on to lecture.
God knows, bro. This Hamza Rafia guy that they signed from Serie A Group B side Pescara, a 24-year-old attacking midfielder. Fuck knows, bro.
Sounds good, huh?
Fuck knows.
For me, it's Mohamed Kaba, French 21-year-old defensive midfielder. Once again, fuck knows.
Fuck knows, bro. Good luck, Lecce.
Yes. Frosinone.
I mean, no one really as well but Simone Romagnoli, even though, like, you know, not too excited about him either, if I'm being honest.
There are a few players at Frosinone that excite me. So there's Harui from Sassuolo.
I don't like him.
What, you don't like him?
Not a massive fan of
I
him.
think he's quite good. I think he's a nifty little mobile midfielder. I think he's okay. Nothing crazy, but I think he's okay. Marvin Cooney from Bayern Munich is an interesting profile that's coming in, yes. He gives me... God, I never remember his name.
What position does he play?
Benevento striker, Albanian, former...
Oh, my stuff.
Former
We're
Bayern Munich. Never remember. One second.
We're not doing this.
Albanian,
We're not doing this.
Bayern Munich,
With a gunshot celebration.
Benevento striker. Ray Manai.
Ray Manai.
Very good. And I got it wrong. He was a former Barcelona striker, not Bayern Munich. But a similar profile, you know, coming from a big team, young player, loaned to a minnow club in Serie A, hoping that he'll have the opportunity to spread his wings and fly. But in Manai's case, he went to Watford, played 6 games, scored 1 goal, and had his contract mutually terminated. But yes, that's what happened to Ray Manai, whose name I never remember.
Yeah.
So that's it, bro. That's our episode done before the question segment, baby.
I got a question.
Welcome, if this is your first time, to our question segment where patrons get priority. But of course, if you ask a juicy question on our socials, we will pick it out and we will discuss it. Shall we get straight into it, bro?
Let's do it.
The first one is Alessio on Twitter at AMJUV4. I assume that's like AMUV. He makes a hot take first. Lecce under D'Aversa in a lot of trouble to go down. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I had them in last. Jake had them in 19th. I think it's a hot take. You called it a hot take because they did decently last year, especially with the strong start they had and the continuity of that back four and just how solid they looked and how good Hulman looked and the fact that we were so surprised by their qualities because they were newcomers. They had just gotten promoted from Serie A. But I think that beginner's luck is over now. I think they lost their key pieces. I think they're being overly confident that they can do it with the squad that they have and they can do it with their new manager. I really don't think they can, bro. So I agree with you a lot, Alessio.
Yes, I agree totally. The next point I don't agree too much with. Salernitana will be the surprise this year. Dia ball all year long, 20 plus goals incoming. Now, I would be extremely surprised if Dia were to stay, personally.
But the fact that there hasn't been a lot of news about him leaving.
Yeah, he was linked to teams. He's been linked to Inter, for example. Well, he was. Now they're not going to sign him. Salernitana are one of the teams that have not been active in the market, and that concerns me. That concerns me a lot. Sousa has complained about it. He's literally said, like, we're not making enough moves. So that isn't a good sign, in my opinion. And I have a bad feeling about them personally.
I don't think they'll be better than they were last year. I think if Diaz stays there, then you might have a point over there. I don't think they'll be pushing for top 10 or anything of the sort. I think they'll be close to that relegation area, similar to the way that they were last season. If Diaz stays, it just makes their season better. If Diaz leaves and they have to start with the Stewart guy up top, I think there Jake might have a point, and they have every reason to worry.
Yes. Finally, he asks, who will be the first coach sacked?
Probably Di Francesco for Frosinone.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go D'Aversa for Lecce.
If not D'Aversa for Lecce. Yeah. If not D'Aversa for Lecce.
Yeah, I don't think Di Francesco is going to do a great job, but I think D'Aversa will get the sack before him personally.
Yeah. It's bold. I am taking the Frosinone job.
It is. His career has been a real downfall, poor guy, since his Roma days. Yeah. And he's a good manager. His style of play is extremely interesting. He's not a bad manager at all. I don't know. Alessio, thank you very much for listening, as always.
He's a loyal one.
It's hilarious how today he texted, lads, I need a Serie A predictions podcast ASAP. And literally we had everything set up.
We're ready to go.
Like coming right up. But yes, thank you, Alessio. Moving on to the Instagram questions. This time I posted them today, so they're not actually deleted.
That was hilarious. What a shit
so many questions,
show.
And
we're such a shit show sometimes.
Okay, so Noah Taylor asks, Noah Taylor 1612 on Instagram asks, who has the best midfield in the league?
Oof, good question, man. Fuck, I wish I thought about this. Who has the best midfield in the league? Oof, man. Do you have an answer?
Napoli.
Oh, that's a good answer. That's a very good answer, bro.
I like Lobotka, Zielinski, Anguissa. I think it's a very good midfield.
I will agree with you. I think give Milan's midfield 2 seasons or a season and it'll be up there as well. But at the moment, Napoli. I think when it comes to balance, Lobotka in the 6, Anguissa in the 8, Zielinski in the 10. What more do you want?
Yeah.
It's perfect. And they're all so technically gifted with super good pressure resistance, super good close ball control. Yeah, I agree. It's Napoli by a landslide, I think.
Max Camilleri 15 says Interest. Yup. Thank you for listening, bro. He says Roma might actually be contenders.
You think, Max?
I don't know. I think they're working well with their budget, the fact that they're under FFP restrictions. I don't think they have what it takes to win the league, but they are contenders for top 4, definitely, yes.
They're contenders for top 4. I'm not too confident in Mourinho anymore. I think that he's always going to be good in a cup competition, but his style is a bit outdated. Now I know you could tell me Allegri's style is outdated and he gets results. Yes, and you'll be absolutely right. I think the combination of Mourinho and Roma is never going to live up to the expectations that people want it to live up to. What were you going to say?
Combination.
Combination. No, I think Roma and Mourinho will continue to struggle in their relationship. I don't think they're set up to play the way that he wants to play, although he's tried to make all the signings in the world, all of his style of players. But I think you just put them up against sides like Pioli's Milan. You put them against Napoli in their 4-3-3. You put them up against Sarri's Lazio. You put them up against Allegri's Juve. And I think they struggle over there.
Interesting. I wouldn't say that Mourinho and Roma have had a complicated relationship, though.
I didn't say they have a complicated relationship. I say it doesn't work.
Okay.
I don't think it works.
They made an Europa League final and they won the Conference League in the first 2 seasons. And
At what expense? At what expense? Champions League football. That's the expense.
But the fans are still. They played in 2 finals in 2 seasons.
When they signed
Remember, these guys were in financial disarray.
When they signed Dybala, yes, but that doesn't have to do with the fact that they're contenders. Yes, they were in financial disarray, but doesn't make them any better that they got out of it. It makes them a more stable squad, more sustainable business. But last year, when they signed Dybala, they signed Belotti, they signed Wijnaldum, everyone was saying, they're going to win the league. They're contenders for sure. They're going to win the league. Where did they finish, man? 6th.
But it was
6th.
It was reactionary to say they would win the league, I think.
It was, but like you were on. You didn't say they were going to win the league, but you had them in top 4. I had them in top 4. You know what I mean? I had them in top 4 ahead of Napoli. I'm doing this stupid episode like this one. I don't think their ceiling is Scudetto high.
No, I agree with you there. Yes.
Okay.
Kurt in Stuckert asks, who is going to be surprise of the season? I'm not sure if he means club or player. So I guess we will give him both. For me, Atalanta will be the surprise of the season and Genoa as clubs.
I think the surprise of the season when it comes to club is going to be Genoa. I'm going to say that. I think when it comes to player, I'm going to say Ruben Loftus-Cheek is going to be the surprise. Because I feel like no one is really counting him as one of the stars that Milan signed because he's injury prone. And I think he'll do a great job. I think he'll be one of the best midfielders in the league next year.
Player, there are so many to choose from.
Like 400.
So many to choose from. Retegui, fuck it, I'm gonna be
oh my
boring.
God, this guy.
Retegui's gonna be the surprise player.
This guy is a Genoa fan. He's on the Lanterna podcast. I think we'll give them a shout out every episode.
Shout out to the Lanterna podcast.
Shout out to the Lanterna podcast. Sorry.
Mr. Bune on
this
Instagram.
is Bune.
No, it's not Bune.
Okay.
It's Mr. Bu.
Bune's a very good footballer that I once pocketed. It was unbelievable. You remember that? You remember me pocketing Bune?
You mention it every now and then.
Yeah.
Is Terracciano gonna claim another victim this season? Yes, I believe Fiorentina have signed a goalkeeper and it is all for nothing as Terracciano will play for sure because he's too good. The goalkeeper...
They did sign a keeper, but...
The goalkeeper they bought is not a decorated goalkeeper. He's not a goalkeeper who has played many games.
No,
Christensen, this guy.
From the German league, is he?
He came from Hertha Berlin, yes, where he played like 35 games in total. I think that Terracciano will probably continue.
And look, I think Terracciano is very underrated. I just don't think he's glamorous.
Yeah.
But he benched a very talented Drangowski. He benched Gollini.
Yeah.
Christensen is next.
He benches everyone. Mr. Bubune also asks, hot take, Nzala, Arthur, Nicole.
Who's Nicole, bro? Was she bad, though?
Bro, who's Nicole, bro? Alright, is that a Freudian slip? Nzala, Arthur, Nicole, and Beltran will carry Fiorentina while Jovic will be on Cochrane's level. Yes, I agree. Jovic left a lot to be desired last year. Personally, I was shocked at how an ex-Real Madrid man could look so bad, bro.
It's almost like Real Madrid buy the players that just had a good season, the same way they did with James Rodriguez and the same way they did with a bunch of these guys.
Yes, I think Nzala and Beltran will definitely be more popular with the coach than Jovic is. Arthur, I have a very good feeling about Arthur. And in fact, I considered him in those 10 minutes I spent thinking about my surprise of the season. I think Arthur will have a redemption season. He's the type of player Italiano would appreciate.
And I made that point earlier, that Madonna, Arthur has a lot to prove, and I feel like he's in a good place with Fiorentina and Italiano. What was the question again? Sorry. I think Nzala will end up surprising a lot of people. I think Italiano likes rotation a lot, so we will be seeing all of these guys being rotated in the starting number 9, the same way that they do with their wingers, their midfielders, so on and so forth. But I agree with you. I don't think Jovic will be their main guy, so to say.
Same. It's your boy Ziggy says Fiorentina top 6 in brackets cope, which means that he doesn't really believe it. For me, it's possible, but it's difficult.
This is Fiorentina harder
Yes,
than
Fiorentina.
hello, bro. It's possible. They had a very, very good mercato. It's just I always struggle because when you compare them to Lazio, Roma, Atalanta, Inter, Napoli, Juve, Milan, it's tough to fit Fiorentina somewhere there. But look, if Juve get caught in some scandal again, then maybe.
Stewman Resources asks, what's the deal with Brescia? Looking on SofaScore, I can't find their fixtures anywhere. They got demoted to Serie A. They lost to Cosenza in the playout final. They had lost the first game and then they were winning the second leg. They got back into it. But then they conceded a goal and there was some controversy around it and their fans acted inappropriately. I think they started attacking players. Something like that.
And they had to abandon the game. Therefore, it was a 3-0 walkover and then they went all the way down to Che.
Yes, I'm not sure if there's anything else happening there. I'm not quite sure where you can't find their fixtures unless you're looking at Serie B, of course. If you're looking at Serie A, you can't find them, unfortunately, I don't know. Kalea Luke, my boy from Higher, he asks, or well, rather, he states, Juve will struggle to make top 4 even though they have no distractions. And that's where I disagree, Luke. I think that you can never write Juve out. They are the kings of winning ugly.
I agree with you there, bro. Well, look, when was the last time that Juve didn't get deducted points and they didn't make top 4?
It's been a while.
I mean, they did it under Sarri, they did it under Pirlo. They definitely did it under Allegri before that. I think one thing they have is continuity. I think if you look at last season, they came second on the pitch. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it seems like now if they do manage to get Berardi on board, man, it'd suck if they don't get him and we're listening back to this podcast and we're just basing it off them.
No, look, but it's they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're going to be pissed off. Absolutely. They're going to want to avenge last year's season, and I think they will. To be honest, I had them winning the league for fuck's sake.
Yeah. No, I think they'll do well. I think they'll definitely be like top 3. I would say Juve would be comfortably.
Our penultimate question comes from Miguel_Gut. He says, in my opinion, Napoli will fall off and this will be a title race between Lazio and Milan.
Ooh,
see, everyone has a different opinion, bro. It's so tight. What other league? Who's going to win the Premier League, bro?
City.
Who's going to win the La Liga, bro?
Probably Real.
Who's going to win the Bundesliga?
Bayern.
Who's going to win the BOV Premier League Malta?
Hamrun.
There we go, bro. This is the best league in the world. Say, you never know who's going to win.
Who's going to win the French league?
Yeah,
the Rons.
Teddy Thomas boys, dude.
Who is going to win the Saudi league is the fucking question. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a question. Come on, Al Hilal.
Come on, Al Nasser. Come on, Al Shabab.
Al Ahli.
Al Yahli.
There's one we always forget.
Al Hilal. Al Hilal. Al Nasser.
Al Ahli.
Al Ahli.
Al Shabab aren't one of them.
No, they're not one of them.
Al Madonna.
It always gets me, bro. Look at that.
Whatever. So, yes, it could be. It could be a title race between Lazio and Milan. I think Lazio, again, with Sarri, they're just getting better and better and better every season. And Milan, you never know what's going to happen over there. So it's very possible.
I think Lazio will have an unfortunate season. That's my feedback.
Okay.
I think, obviously, like you said, they're getting better under Sarri. But I think they will feel the loss of Sergei a lot, especially when it comes to shifting the ball from midfield to attack. They'll struggle there. And if Chira has an injury, that's going to make matters worse for them. And for some reason, I do think that they will, that fortune won't be on their side, but that's more of a feeling I get rather than something backed up by knowledge. Also, the squad depth, I'm not a fan of.
Our patron and friend, organizer of Fantacalcio, legend Michael Tonna, asks, or rather states, whoever gets Lukaku is going to have a big problem. Simple, but very true, bro. I think that's the case. When you look at, for example, the links to Milan, I look at the fact that last season there was Zlatan Ibrahimovic in the locker room. You know, you look at one of the greatest leaders the sport has ever seen, an incredible motivator, a guy that would get you to kill your own father after a team talk. You know what I mean? It'd get you to fucking do whatever he wants you to do. Like, it'd get you to spit blood in training on a Monday, like when you're slightly hungover, you know?
Yeah.
Lukaku, on the other hand, you never know. If it gets tough, he might stop talking to you. Apparently, like it did to Lautaro, he might go to the media and just chat shit, man. He's just the CEO of making wrong decisions and burning bridges, and you don't want that.
I can't believe I ever felt bad for him for that horrific spell he went through with the Belgian national team, and for how bad he was doing at Inter in the beginning of last year. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck because he's unprofessional. You don't do these things. He's shot himself in the foot, and in the process he's taken Chelsea down, he's taken Inter down. Inter are the ones that gave him a second chance. Like, he fucked Inter over, and Inter are like, look, we're gonna give you another chance. Oh, what did he do? Before the Champions League, finally he's negotiating with Juve. Get that shit away from my team.
I feel the need to jump in though and give him his flowers, because at the end of the day, on form and on his day, he is a very effective striker, and there are many teams who could benefit from having Lukaku. However, I don't think that a team a big team should bring him into a dressing room that's already stable. That's my point, essentially.
Yeah.
I think if you're a team that can afford to get a big name with high ambitions, for example, a team pushing for Champions League, then you go for Lukaku. But for Champions League qualification, rather, not to actually win the Champions League. But that's my opinion on Lukaku.
He has Saudi written all over him.
He does have Saudi written all over him. I see him moving.
That's where he'll end up.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you very much.
That is the last episode before the fucking league starts.
Because I'm fed up, bro, quite frankly, talking about nothing.
Yeah, bro, isn't it fucking exhausting?
I want to analyze.
Hearsay. Yes. Hearsay.
I feel like we have a fucking E-entertainment podcast, you know?
Hey.
Have you heard of the Kardashians of that? Jesus, I want to talk about football, you know?
But this fucking Saturday, just on this couch right here. TV there. Alan there. Chesko there.
It's gonna be fun.
Me. You. Some more motherfuckers.
Beer.
A bunch of beer.
Lots of beer.
Saturday. Oh my god, bro. Sign me up. This is gonna be magnificent. Guys, we hope you're looking forward to the start of Serie A as much as we are. Have your say on who you think you agree with more with regards to these predictions. Let us know.
We should post our predictions on Instagram and have people vote.
That's a promise that we might not follow up. But well done. We might, yes. Thank you very much for listening, guys. We've been Serie A Spotlight. Remember to rate us 5 stars wherever you're listening, be it Apple, Spotify, or Google. Give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and give us a nice, big, sweaty kiss. We love you all. Take care. I will see you next week.